It's Dylan's KC Barbecue at 4 Valley locations. Our sports bar in Arrowhead is packed with TVs for the ultimate sports fan. Our Wildlife World Zoo location will have you on the edge of your seat, dining right next to our 60,000-gallon shark tank. Dylan's Bayou at Pleasant Harbor has never-ending sunsets, beautiful people, and live music every weekend. And our newest location, Western Trails Ranch, is 12 acres of rodeo fun and live outdoor concerts for the entire family. It's Dylan's KC Barbecue, where we're elite, unique, and memorable.
This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing.
Welcome to the She's So Right show. Conservative women being led by Christ to stand for what's right.
Meet your hosts, Lindsey Graham, labeled the Patriot Barbie by the leftist mob. She is a proud author and advocate for freedoms and conservative values.
Brandie Barclay is a powerful Christian voice on Faith Talk Radio, the founder of Power Soul, and a certified life coach.
Guys, get ready to say it way more than you're used to.
She's so right.
Starts now.
Freedom fighters. Are you tired of giving your hard-earned money to big corporations who use their power against us? The more money we give them, the more power they have. We are done. As conservatives, the best and most effective way to vote is with our dollars.
We are also committed to shopping products that are cutting edge and toxin-free for a healthier lifestyle. Next time you need daily essentials for your home and body, or are looking to drastically improve your skincare and healthcare with superior collagen and supplements, go to www.shesorightshow.com and click Shop Our Products. Get instant access to our favorite things that will revolutionize your home, your health, and how you do business in the USA.
Use our shopping link to get $10 off your first order. Go to www.shesorightshow.com. Follow us on Instagram at shesorightshow to find all our promo codes and discounts.
What's up, guys? Welcome.
Hey, freedom fighters.
Today we're so excited. We're going to go full mama bear. We've talked about pretty much everything on the right. Transgender, traditional marriage. Have we covered vaccines? Well, we're anti-COVID vaccine.
Well,
I don't know if that needs to be said.
We do talk about that. I feel like almost in every show it kind of pops up because it's just, you can't get away from it right now.
When you go down the rabbit trail of like all the stuff that's angering, I want to say pissing off.
No,
pissing
it's
off the right, that's
depressing.
one of them. Is like the nonstop. Literally, I've gotten to the point where I'm walking through Walmart and I'm yelling, propaganda, propaganda. I don't care who hears me because it's so ridiculous. I'm shopping for Christmas. I made an Instagram video about this. Literally, silent night, holy night. And then, have you gotten your COVID-19 vaccine? Visit our clinic for free. And I'm like, dude, you're interrupting the Christmas spirit to try to put a needle in my arm.
Oh my gosh.
Last I checked, that was...
Well, I've had a talk with Matt last night. We were at dinner and I've been feeling so heavy. And I feel like if I feel this way and I'm, when I'm not feeling heavy with politics, I try to be completely consumed with God and his goodness and who he is and what he's doing. And if I feel this way, I have to imagine that this is the reason the suicide is up, depression is up, all-time highs we're talking about. And, I lay in bed and it's like the wet blanket feels like, oh my gosh, I get up and I told Matt, from now on, I'm making a commitment to not getting up and getting on my phone.
Oh,
because it is such a drain. Yeah. I mean, you wake up, but it is my instinct to go grab it. Either like, okay, what time is it? Whatever it is. What time? It's usually just what time is it? Where do I have to be in a half an hour? What's happening?
Yeah.
But then I look at it and, it is exactly what it's been designed to be. A little trap.
Pops up.
A little trap that sucks me in. Yep. And I thought, you know what? No more. Like I'm going to have a normal alarm clock like in the 80s.
Oh, wow. This is going to work out poorly, by the way. She's not going to look at her calendar.
This is the glory days right here for Brandie. So total old school, get up, actually get outside, work out, have my own thoughts that might actually be creative and stimulating and good, have some time with God, get my butt in the gym before I pick up my phone. so that I have something to bring to this rather than just letting it suck the life out of me.
I'm not going to commit to anything like that.
I have to. I have to because I'm starting to get like I've literally for 5 days what's been ringing in my ears, and this hasn't happened in years. What is wrong with me? Like, what is this heavy feeling?
We're watching the demise of our nation.
Yeah.
And more so than, let's say, it happening, 10, 20 years ago, social media and the news and our phones are so acceptable and accessible.
Consuming.
That you can see it anytime, all hours of the day. And we're watching 5 to 10 different massive falls. We're watching about sex trafficking. We're watching about our insane fake president with his fake set. We're watching vaccines be pushed. We're watching kids be kicked out of restaurants in New York for not wearing masks, 5-year-olds. Like, all these different things are happening simultaneously that are horrifying and terrifying and tragic, and they are on our phones, like, at any given moment. Of course we're depressed. And here's, of course we're stressed out.
Right?
Imagine, we don't even
I
believe
have to
it.
laugh or I'll cry. For
We don't,
real.
yeah, we don't even believe the propaganda, right?
No.
Imagine what it's like for people who actually believe the who
Well-
think all of these things are happening, and they're also going to die of COVID. Like,
Well, that's
imagine
why there's
suicide.
people. Well, this is what's happening. This is why there's, a couple weeks back, there was a woman spitting on a man in an airplane because she's completely bought into this man is going to kill her.
Yeah, she spits on him.
No, right? But I'm saying,
me make sense
I
of
know it doesn't make sense, but it's the fear. It's the massive fear.
And that's what the intention is. When you
Absolutely.
get that hysterical, you create this violent chemistry between people.
Can I just ask something really fast? If you're that afraid
Why are
of
you on an
someone
airplane?
without a mask, why are you on an airplane?
Right.
It's
the germ central.
Take your life into your own hands and stay home. Why are you spitting on someone else for your decision to get on an airplane?
From the very beginning, that has been like the confusing thing is if you're so scared for your kids, if you're so scared you're going to die, why in the world are you out in public in an airplane where there's like no whatever?
Yeah, because it's everyone else's responsibility to baby you. And that's a joke. And the other thing is, I don't know, I can't count on my fingers how many people I've heard from personally who've had the jab and have gotten COVID after 1 or 2, or how many boosters do you need, you guys? I mean, what are we talking about? A vaccine? Okay, the argument is, well, there's no more polio.
It worked.
It worked. This is not that. I mean, let's really think about it. If people are still getting COVID, then and really, I'm looking at the symptoms of the new. Whatever it is, it's the cold symptoms. I mean, it's winter.
I could have
winter
it right
just
now.
hit.
According to the
I think
symptoms,
you and I
could
are both
currently have
probably.
it.
You and I are super spreaders.
My nose is
Probably
running,
right at this
so-
moment. I have a hot water because I have a scratchy throat. God
Oh
forbid.
my gosh, we have Omicron. Okay, so now they're trying to vax kids. They've masked kids. They've had kids out of school. Our guest today, MacKensey Pulliam, her husband is a gubernatorial candidate in Oregon. And I saw MacKensey for the first time on a press conference because she was, I think, the first mom in Oregon to stand up and say, I'm going to fight for our kids. I'm going to do something about this, not just keep my own kids home. I'm going to bring other moms into this fight. And the fight is in Oregon because a lot of people are looking at Oregon saying we don't want to end up like that because Oregon's so rogue with their mandates and their craziness. Like, they're right behind New York. And I'm proud that there is someone that saw the stupidity of it all from the very beginning and has said, no one else is going to fight for our kids except us. So Mama Bears, we've got MacKensey Pulliam on the other line. MacKensey, I'm going to welcome you to the show and then I'm going to read your bio, okay?
All right, sounds good.
Hey, okay, so MacKensey Pulliam.
I'm Mackenzie.
Hi.
She's the president and co-founder of the Oregon Moms Union, a nonprofit organization of parents providing statewide leadership to parents to advocate for a student-first education system. She is a working mom to 2 daughters who attend an Oregon public charter school and is married to Sandy, Oregon Mayor Stan Pulliam, who's running for governor. winner of the Clackamas County Distinguished Service Award alongside her husband. She serves on the board of a local nonprofit, Sandy's Helping Hands, and was previously a member of the governing school board at her daughter's charter school. So, you are an involved mother.
I am. And I feel like over the years I've tried to not be as involved, but I think right now it's just, I feel like we just can't stand by and just allow them to do whatever they want with the education system anymore. Like, as parents, we've got to fight back.
Yep. And they're going kind of crazy in Oregon. What was it that first triggered you to start the Oregon Moms Union? Was it the masks? Was it the CRT? Like, this was like a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah. Well, so we started back in April of 2021. So it feels like a long time ago, but it was, 8-9 months ago.
Okay.
And honestly, there was so much frustration leading up to this. I've got 2 school-age children who had been through, the end of the 2020 school year where they did virtually nothing.
Yep.
And then they brought them back into distance learning for 2020, 2021. And it was just, it was awful. I remember that first week, there were parents and kids literally like on Zoom with my daughters, like crying because it was so hard. And I feel like everybody kind of got used to it and parents kind of got okay. And then in April, when, it was finally time to get kids back into the classroom, when other states had been back in the classroom for months, the government teachers unions who allowed their members, the teachers, to cut in front of the line for vaccines in front of, the elderly and the most vulnerable, then decided, oh, no, we're not going to really come back. We'll come back a couple hours a day, and that'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's like we're facing a year of learning loss. And it just honestly was one of those things that, I saw so many parents on social media who are, frustrated and complaining, but there was no organized effort to just do something about it. And so me and a couple other frustrated moms were like, we need to get parents organized. We need to come together because together, we can really try to make an impact and have, impact positive change, because that's what these government teachers unions do. They organize like crazy. I'm like,
exactly.
We need our own union. And I actually said this line in a video on the 1-year anniversary of, closing schools, that if our kids had a union, they would have been in school months ago, which is so true. And so we started the Oregon Moms Union. We fought to get our kids back into school. And we actually ended up, at one point in time, Governor Brown was trying to shut down businesses again. And we actually joined into a lawsuit with other small businesses and parents to try to get her, her executive order, thrown out and try to get things back to normal. And while we didn't win the lawsuit, within 24 hours, she changed the metric for small businesses, and small businesses were open back in Oregon. So we'll call it a victory.
Yes,
That's awesome.
Is totally a victory.
It is a victory.
We have to take a quick break, Kenzie, and then can I call you Kenzie?
You have a nickname now.
I've nicknamed you. We'll be right back, and then I want to talk about the lawsuit. I want to talk more about you guys organizing and what your union is doing for kids in Oregon.
Hey, Freedom Fighters, you're back. The She's So Right show with Brandie Barclay and Lindsey Graham, and we have a special guest today, MacKensey Pulliam. I hope I'm saying that correctly, Pulliam, who is leading the charge for our kids in Oregon against mask mandates and stay-at-home education. Tell us a little more, MacKensey. What happened with the lawsuit? And maybe you said it wasn't a win, but it really was. Tell us a little more about that.
Yeah, definitely. Our lawsuit ended up getting thrown out because technically they said that as an organization of parents, we didn't have standing to, fight for the rights of our kids.
Isn't that crazy?
Imagine that.
What is going on there? Like,
I think
what
that's
is
a
going
separate
on?
lawsuit.
It is.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Jeez, it just makes me crazy.
The one thing that our lawsuit did do, and at the time, all the metrics were based on like COVID cases. And as soon as we filed our lawsuit within 24 hours, Governor Kate Brown changed the metric to business opening and how open they could be to a vaccination percentage. And that actually allowed businesses in all the counties here in Oregon to reopen, at least in some capacity, where she had just closed them down. So while it didn't affect schools, it affected all those small business owners in Oregon. And so, like I said, we totally count that as a win because it changed something that allowed us to move on and get closer to some kind of like a normal place where we just learned to live with COVID like we live with the cold and we live with the flu.
Yeah, I don't like something that you said earlier was that in 2021, everyone else, I mean, I can vouch for this. I lived in Arizona by then. We all went back to school. And you guys were still like, keep the kids home. And the teachers are scared of getting COVID and blah, blah, blah. And you said some moms were like, okay, well, we're used to it now. And it's like, hold on a second. We just changed the baseline for what's normal. Mm-hmm. Kids don't go to school. You just got acclimated to that. Like, that's what they're trying to do. And that makes me mad.
I wonder sometimes, I remember when my kids were in school. And I remember there being this, you'd have your teacher night, parent-teacher night, where you come and you meet the teachers, see the classrooms, the whole thing. And I remember sitting in these things where it was all about babying the teachers. Okay, seriously. It was all about what can we do to help the teachers? What can we do to give the teachers? Who's going to make gifts for the teachers? I finally stood up halfway through this meeting and said, can we talk about our students? Yeah. And I got the most evil eyes from like, oh my God, who is this woman who doesn't care about our teachers? No, I care about our teachers, but they did choose this profession. Mm-hmm. And why are we babying them and not looking out for the kids? And I felt like, I actually felt, maybe I'm wrong, I'm probably going to get a little hate for this. I mean, do teachers just want to stay home with their kids in their pajamas? Is that what happened? Because I didn't understand why this continue and still is such a big deal to the teachers that don't want to be in the classroom.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, teachers were given priority for the vaccine when it first came out here and over, the elderly and the most vulnerable. So we vaccinated them in order to get our kids back to school sooner. And then those government teachers unions, pushed back so hard. And it was honestly like from a parent's view, it was so frustrating that, schools are supposed to be all about kids. It's just supposed to be like a student first, system. And it's not. Mm-mm. And, I think that it hasn't been for a long time. And I think this just woke up a lot of parents to see where the power centers lie and where the money is. And I think that a lot of parents have been awoken to that. Mm-hmm. And I really hope that they don't just idly sit by and say that's okay, because it's not okay.
Right. Hey, tell me if this rumor is true. I still keep up with a lot of stuff in Oregon, and I swear I saw some moms saying that kids, I don't know how this prevents COVID, but kids were literally having to sit separate outside and like eat their lunch on the ground, like outside in the freezing cold in the rain. Is that true?
Yeah, it is. And it kind of varies school district by school district. And we're lucky because we live in this, small town outside of Portland where our kids have been eating inside the entire year. And we haven't had big outbreaks. They've been perfectly fine. But yet in Portland, you've got kids out in like 40-degree weather sitting on buckets at lunch to social distance, completely separated from their peers. And they're forced to eat lunch outside, and it's happening all over the Portland area. And it's honestly, our kids shouldn't have to go through this. I mean, you can go to a restaurant and you can take off your mask.
Yep.
Is this still happening? Is this happening right now?
Yeah, well, not right now because we're on Christmas break, but before break it was. And I think going back, in the next week, I think it will continue to happen. I mean, our prisoners are eating inside.
Right. Oh my gosh, right? I'm sure the teachers are eating inside because they're fully vaccinated, even though they can still catch COVID and not spread it to kids who pretty much can't catch COVID.
MacKensey, are you finding that parents are caving in and just getting their kids vaxxed and all of the things so that they can, quote, quote, go back to normal?
Yeah, we've really seen kind of like a 50-50 split. Luckily here in Oregon, they have not forced a vaccine mandate for kids yet. Now, we know that Governor Kate Brown always has something up her sleeve, so we are under no illusion that it couldn't eventually happen. But so far, We've been luckily enough, it's been left up to the choice of the parents, as it should be.
Right.
But they are starting little things like different quarantine rules if you're exposed as a vaccinated child versus an unvaccinated child. I think it's really 50-50. Honestly, a lot of parents that I've talked to have said that, a vaccine mandate for kids would be, that's where they draw the line and they pull their kids out. But I also think there are a lot of parents who are choosing to do it just because they kind of feel the pressure like they may have done, when they got themselves vaccinated. So I really feel like it's kind of a 50-50 split. And honestly, my opinion is like, you do you. If you want to get vaccinated, you want to vaccinate your kid, great. If you don't, great. But we should have the choice as parents to make those medical decisions for our families and not have them mandated by the government.
Well, and not be harassed endlessly by other vaccinated people and ostracized if you make a different choice than them. I feel like there's a lot of moms, like you've got the mom it's a long time ago, it was I'm the perfect mom. I cook all my kids' lunches and I leave them notes and they always have a precious snack. And
Are you talking about me again? Stop
I'm
it.
literally looking right at you. And while I drop them off, my hair is done, my makeup is full, and I'm on the PTA. Now it's, my kids are vaxxed. Okay, right?
Well, now it's literal segregation again.
Yeah.
And the gamut of what this is doing to the kids. We're not talking enough about that. We're talking about, who's killing grandma with their breath, but we're not talking about kids, what this is doing to their learning ability, their social ability, and how that is stunting children. Mm-hmm. What is this going to look like in 10 years? I think it's
going to be bad. I think it's going to be really bad. Well,
I
think Brandie had said that there was, a mom who said their kid can't read yet because she can't see the teacher's mouth, and that's half of learning words, and reading is watching a mouth sound out the consonants and the vowels. And
a mom that goes into schools to help the kids read and volunteers, she's noticing that these kids at reading level are not reading. She goes, because they have had their face masked for the last 2 years.
So that's education being halted, but also the social aspect is going to be halted too, because you take your cues on growing up, learning to say please and thank you. And is this person upset with me? Are they happy with what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You mimic each other's social cues. Well, they're not going to have them because you can't do much with just your eyeballs.
No.
You can bat your pretty long lashes.
Really?
All right, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the She's So Right show. We've got MacKensey Pulliam on, the president and co-founder of Oregon Moms Union. We're talking about how to protect and save our kids. Welcome back, guys. You're listening to the She's So Right show with Brandie Barclay, Lindsey Graham, and today's special guest, MacKensey Pulliam, the president and co-founder of Oregon Moms Union. Being the mama bearers that Brandie and I both are, we are talking to MacKensey about protecting kids in Oregon, which is kind of ground zero right now, and what she's doing to fight back on kids eating lunch outside in the freezing rain.
That's really healthy when there's a virus going around.
Right?
Let's go sit outside in the rain and eat by ourselves every day.
Literally, the term is, put your jacket on, you'll catch a cold. Well, now you're going to catch COVID. Like, my God.
It's just so silly. I was just saying earlier, MacKensey, like, I laugh because if I don't laugh, I'll cry. That's how bad this is. I mean.
Yeah.
If we don't make fun of it. Okay, so Oregon Moms Union. Tell us about the structure of that, who's involved, what you guys are doing to fight for
the world.
Babies.
Yeah. So what we kind of learned, last spring, just in talking to different parents around the state, is that so much of this is really local. And there's these big state mandates and whatnot, but really there's so many issues that are so specific to each individual school district that we decided that we wanted to kind of create this army of moms and parents and get like real boots on the ground to help parents be able to advocate at that local level with their school boards. So we created this program where we have a school district captain, and the goal is to get one in every single school district in Oregon. And there's 197 of them, so that's a really big goal. Right now we're at about 70 school districts, so we're well on our way.
Nice.
And kind of what these school district captains do is they help to organize local parents because they feel like school boards are so good at making you feel like you're the only one, the only parent that feels that way. Yeah. And so we're trying to bring parents together so they can realize that, there's a group of parents that feel this way. It's not just you. You've got support, and bring them together and get them to go to those school board meetings and email their school board and be active, because as we all know, there's strength in numbers. And if we don't allow them to tell us we're the only ones that feel that way, then all of a sudden, we have this much larger voice. So that's kind of really our big push right now, is getting school district captains in as many school districts here in Oregon as we can.
That's so amazing. So where do we have, I think, a lot of listeners in Oregon still, because that's where my fight started. How do people find the link to apply or to contact you or whatever?
Yeah. So if they go to our website, which is OregonMomsUnion.com, we have a page on there where people can go and find their school district captain. And then if there isn't one listed, they can reach out to us through the website and kind of learn more about the position. A lot of the districts, we have co-captains, because it can feel like a lot of work and a big job. And so, like I said, strength in numbers, right? So we have a lot of co-captains as well. And so they can reach out to us and get more information and join, or reach out to their local school district captain to figure out kind of how they can get plugged in. And then we're working on creating a lot of resources and talking points and email campaigns that we're providing to those school district captains that they can then share with all the parents within their district.
Awesome.
So good.
Have you experienced the cancel culture being like the forefront of a massive movement to dismantle, have you had it?
Oh yeah. And it's funny. Being married to someone who's been mayor of the community we live in for the last 3 years, I've developed a little bit of a thicker skin.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the things that happen, honestly, we kind of just laugh. We've been called day drinking bad moms, which is probably
my gosh, that's like a compliment.
Oh my God. Yeah, you're such bad moms that you're spending half of your time advocating for your kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
MacKensey.
Racist.
Oh, of course. Yep.
Oh my gosh. Of
Classic.
course.
Classic.
The standard.
Boring. Move on.
Yeah.
Next.
So quick question. Are your kids, what has been accomplished in the classroom? Are they not masking? What's happening right now?
Yeah, so we've really pushed back against masks, but because it's a statewide mandate, it's really been a struggle. Right now, they're actually trying to make the mask mandate permanent, not part of the governor's
Oh my God.
Like forever.
So we have an email campaign going for parents, and we've had over 5,000 parents go in through our email campaign and submit public comment to the Oregon Health Authority, who's trying to make that rule permanent. So we're just trying to remove the barriers for parents and help them be able to take action and, submit public comment, send emails, whatever it is they need to do in order to, take action for their kids.
Right. Well, I lost my train of thought.
There's so much
to say,
Omicron.
but I can't think
It's
of
your
any of it.
Omicron brain.
I know.
Right?
I'm dying of COVID as we speak.
Oh my gosh.
I should have played that off as a PR stunt and just fell over on the chair. That would be less embarrassing.
So, MacKensey, one of the things I just wanted to say, first of all, thank you. Thank you. And although you're on the radio here in Arizona, I hope that this encourages Arizona parents, not just moms, Arizona parents. We can organize, and we must. We must be more organized. We have to dial into our local community. It happens. If you're not letting it happen in your house, your school, your church, you're holding the line. Thanks, MacKenzie. We'll be right back.
God, we need you now.
Freedom Fighters are back. You're listening to the She's So Right show with myself, Brandie Barclay, and my fabulous co-host, Lindsey Graham, who today looks like Paula Abdul in the studio with a high ponytail and leggings that look like Mars. I'm waiting for her to sing. What was? Do you remember Paula Abdul? What was?
Straight up now, tell me, do you really want to love me forever? Oh.
That is literally in here right now. This is why we got cameras in here. There's a whole element of entertainment that no one is seeing. I get to see it. It's just amazing.
You should see how jealous Brandie is of my Paula Abdul.
I'm really not, because I'm wearing a Def Leppard t-shirt, so I'm never going to be jealous if I'm wearing a Def Leppard t-shirt.
She's rock and I'm pop.
Anyway, Pop Rocks. We're here with MacKensey Pulliam, who is an avid freedom-fighting mama bear in Oregon, where Lindsey's from. And she is married to
Stan Pulliam.
Stan Pulliam, who was mayor, is mayor.
Sandy. Yep. He's currently mayor still, yeah?
Yep, correct.
Okay.
And running for governor, correct?
For governor. So you guys are
fighting.
You guys are a powerhouse. I'd love to come to your Christmas party.
I know.
Like, do you guys
Movers and shakers.
guys go head to head over your alphaness? Or
It's awesome
She's like,
actually because, he's super supportive of me. I'm super supportive of him. And our kids, I think, get really embarrassed when we go out in public to dinner because people come up to us at restaurants and they're like, thank you so much for fighting. And our kids are hiding that are super embarrassed.
They're going to love that.
You know what?
Though. They're going to be like, my mom is MacKensey Pulliam.
That's right. When our kids are embarrassed of us, my daughter, still 21, who gets embarrassed of when I leave the house in gold lame pants and stuff and says I'm too much for her.
Oh, sort of like when you make fun of someone and call them Paula Abdul.
Yeah.
Huh.
No, I'm not making fun. I'm down with it. I'm so down. But you know what? It's the thing that this is amazing. You're leaving a legacy of strength and not caring what people say. You're doing what God has entrusted you with. Your children, you're protecting them and not only fighting for your own, because I think this is where a lot of people get stuck. They do what's best for their kids, but they're not thinking about how can this is impacting the community, and the community impacts my kids as well. Mm-hmm. So how awesome. Tell us a little bit about what your husband, what's his main, I guess if there's one sentence that you could say your husband is fighting for. I kind of want to hear the number one thing on your mind.
Elevator pitch, right?
Yeah.
You've got 2 seconds. You've got 2 seconds to earn my vote for Stan that I don't legally have a vote for. But
I say that Stan is fighting for our neighbors here in Oregon. I think that there's a lot of politicians out there that, take money from special interests and big corporations and, the rich people. But Stan and I are just normal middle-class people with middle-class problems and middle-class debt. And I think that that's really relatable. There hasn't been anyone in the governor's mansion with, public school age children in 20, 30 years. So we understand what families are going through. We understand what Oregonians are going through. And, Stan really led the charge this time last year, to get small businesses back open. Kate Brown shut them down right before the holiday season. And, their employees couldn't get their unemployment checks, and it was awful. And so he organized and he rallied a big group of businesses here in Oregon to defy her metrics, and not to just reopen with no safety precautions, but to just reopen at that next risk level down in a smart way to make sure that, they weren't, jeopardizing anyone's health, but allowing these small business owners to earn a living and allowing their employees to get back to work.
Right. And I hate that it's been 2 years and we still have to say we didn't just open without precaution. We opened to keep everyone safe. And it's dude,
I know.
We have got to move on from the idea that anyone that opened their business early on still didn't actually jeopardize anyone's life.
Exactly.
It is okay now, I think, to just freaking open with no apologies, No. And yet the left makes us skate around that terminology when you say well, I think we have a right to work, with safety precautions. Because if you don't say that, you become this insensitive, hateful, death-wishing Trump supporter. Racist, white supremacist, all the things all in one, simply because you wanted to work or you want your kids to go to school mask-free. And we're still tiptoeing on their precious little feelings, and it's so frustrating. But Stan did the right thing. He encouraged businesses to defy tyrannical orders. Obedience to God or disobedience to tyranny is obedience to God, right? And I think that's what put him on the map. I mean, that is how I know his name, is I was like, thank goodness a politician, someone in office willing to stand up and put his own name on the line, not just another business owner, someone who has something to lose, right? Brandie would like to interrupt.
No. I don't want to interrupt. I'm just giving. I'm giving her my little as soon as you're done ranting.
I'm done ranting. I could rant for an
now
hour.
You totally interrupted my thoughts. See, this is how old I am. You can't interrupt me my
politician
thoughts.
Standing up.
Politician standing up. So my question is this: because you're in Oregon And because a lot of people there, according, I'm with Lindsay a lot, and I know what Oregon was like for her, are brainwashed into this. How encouraged are you that he can actually win when so many people have bought into this nonsense?
Yeah, I think that, Oregon was in a bad way long before the pandemic ever came around. And I think a lot of people just, had their blinders on and tried to be like, oh, but it's beautiful here. And so it's okay because we have recreation and we can all just put up with whatever the government lays down because it's pretty here.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people have really been awoken to, what the government is willing to do and how the government treats its people. Just like last year, we were told we couldn't get together for Thanksgiving and we were supposed to turn our neighbors in if they had more than 6 people at their house. That's
my
insanity.
gosh.
This is an actual thing that she said. She said
it's actual communism.
Yeah.
This is what is so frightening, is that this is communism here happening now. So, put your kayak away.
Paddleboards, come on.
Yeah, get your paddleboard, put it as, it's like you can't hide from it.
Well, and MacKensey, that is exactly what you hear when I tell people I'm from Oregon. I go straight politics. I don't care who you are, and I don't care if you're going to disagree with me because I'm kind of
Trust me, she doesn't.
crazy
Everywhere
now.
we go.
They're like, oh, it's so beautiful. I'm like, it's not beautiful if you can't go outside and look at it.
Yeah.
It's not beautiful sitting inside your house being scared to death that if you go out maskless, you're either going to get shot or beat up or
Yeah.
not
Targeted,
And if
literally.
literally not afraid of dying. But yeah,
Portland and seen the homeless camps there, it's not so beautiful anymore.
it's not. Nope. So
It's
you guys
terrible.
are sticking it out. You know how there's a mass exodus of Oregonians leaving, right? So you guys are going to stick it out and fight.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. We're stick it out people. And I grew up in Idaho. And so Idaho definitely is a special place in our heart. But we're not going to let these people come in and, think that they can tell us how to live our lives and what we can do. We live in America. It's
Yep.
all about choice.
Yep.
And
yep,
so we
yep.
should be able to choose how we want to live our lives. And if we want to live in this beautiful state of Oregon without people, oppressing their feelings and their values onto us, then we should be able to do that. Just like we should be able to do that in any state in the United States.
Yep.
I mean, really.
Well, and Rob McCoy said at America Fest just this last week here in Phoenix, he said, or was it was Jack Hibbs. He said, I'm not leaving California. I'm staying where the fight is.
That's right. He said, he actually kind of confronted the people that are caravanning away, saying, this is where the fight is. If you want to be in it, stay here and let's win this back.
Yeah.
And I think living, I'm a native of Arizona. I get it. I get leaving places and coming here, but I'm also, we have the saying, don't California or Arizona, because don't bring those policies here. If you're running away from them, God forbid you keep doing what you've been
you
doing.
take that and just shift it. You're not running away if you're bringing it with you.
Yeah.
Right? Why run away from an abusive ex just to have him hidden away in the trunk, God, that was a great analogy. Anyone?
What?
I know,
What?
right?
What? That threw me
I'm
way
picturing
off.
like you're bringing your baggage with you. Like, what's the point of running from it if you're
Yes.
bringing it with you?
Exactly.
Then you're not actually running from it.
Exactly.
I was picturing an abusive ex tucked in
that
the
was
trunk.
interesting. This is,
I come up with random stuff. I'm sorry. What do you think? Do you think Oregon's going to flip red? I heard someone say that the other day, and I don't know why. Just because they've pushed so hard that the red's going to push back. Do you think there's any chance of that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I honestly think that, it's been 40 years since we've had a Republican governor here in Oregon. And I think
And that's
people
the
are
problem.
really
Yep.
unhappy. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think people have seen, what this 100% Democrat control has done, and it hasn't really done great things. Oregon's, schools were nearly last in education before the pandemic hit. And so we're really just praying that, people have become awoken to what's going on and, that they're willing to look at someone who's willing to fight for people and who's willing to say, you do you and you live the life that you want to live, because that's the whole point. Stan's not here to tell people they have to be conservatives and they have to agree with him. He's here to say, I want to give you the ability to believe in whatever the heck is you want. And as long as you're not treading on your neighbors, then you do you. Like, that's kind of our philosophy.
It's hard not to tread on your neighbors when they're sleeping in your yard and out in your street. I'm like, first things first, let's get our neighbors off the street.
Oh my gosh. I think the word you're looking for there is freedom. Like he's pro-freedom, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, people who want to get vaccinated, they should also be pro-freedom. I have the freedom to get the vaccination.
And if you're vaccinated, why do you care if I am? It doesn't. If you're vaccinated, and people get so mad when I say this.
Back to vaccines again.
No, but I mean, they get so mad. If your vaccination works, why do you care if I'm vaccinated?
Yep.
Isn't that the whole concept?
Or
what am I missing?
I don't know. Nothing.
Thank you.
Brandie, you're not wrong. You're so right.
Oh. There it is.
Well, and pro-freedom means all of the things. Your freedom, if you are afraid of Omicron, if you're afraid of your kids being in school with unvaccinated teachers, you are free to keep them home. You are free to mask them up. You are free to do all those things.
You know what
are
I
not
wish?
free to tell us that we don't get that same freedom.
I wish we were hearing, rather than, the 0.00% of people that are getting affected by this virus, I wish we were hearing about the suicide rate of children. I wish we were hearing about the depression rate of children. We were just at AmFest last week with this 15-year-old kid, a gorgeous kid
From Washington.
that had just 6 months ago shot himself in the head. By a miracle, he was standing in front of us, grateful for his life, grateful that he didn't kill himself. And no one's talking about that. Yep. And I think that is the biggest.
General just out yesterday and said that there's an epidemic of mental health. And I'm like, parents have been screaming this for the last year and a half. Where have you been?
Yep. They're not listening to the right people.
Parents, this is the truth, MacKensey, thank God for you. Parents have, we say, like Lindsey says, you say you'd throw yourself in front of a bus for your kid. You say you'd die, take a bullet for your kid. Take that mask off their face. Go stand with other parents and link arms. And like you said, being boots on the ground, because this has to be one for our kids. We're going to have a whole nother epidemic in a few years. I mean, if this doesn't change.
So MacKensey, people can find you on Facebook.com, Oregon Moms Union. You're on Twitter at Oregon Moms Union. And your website is OregonMomsUnion.com. So just tell us really quickly how people can help. Can they donate? Can they join?
Yeah, definitely. Visit Oregon Moms Union. From there, you can join. You can find your school district captain. You can donate. And really, the more people we get involved, the more power we have. And we provide training and resources and everything you need. So even if you're scared and don't know what to do, that's what we're here for. We are here to make sure that you guys have what you need to go to your school board and tell them that enough is enough.
Right.
So awesome. Thank you so much for being our guest today, MacKensey.
Yeah, thank you. Keep up the fight.
Definitely.
All right, guys, you're listening to the She's So Right Show. Brandie Barclay and Lindsey Graham. Visit us at she'ssorightshow.com. Support our show, shop Patriot Partners, and live stream if you'd like.
See you next time. God bless you all.
God bless America.
God bless myself.
God bless
my brain.
God bless Omicron.
It's Dylan's KC Barbecue at 4 Valley locations. Our sports bar in Arrowhead is packed with TVs for the ultimate sports fan. Our Wildlife World Zoo location will have you on the edge of your seat, dining right next to our 60,000-gallon shark tank. Dylan's Bayou at Pleasant Harbor has never-ending sunsets, beautiful people, and live music every weekend. And our newest location, Western Trails Ranch, is 12 acres of rodeo fun and live outdoor concerts for the entire family. It's Dylan's KC Barbecue, where we're elite, unique, and memorable.